it going? My name is Fiona. If you haven't already watched any of my videos, just to introduce myself, I have 3 children and I do videos about parenting, breastfeeding, birth, pregnancy and yoga. Today I'm going to talk about baby wearing, if you haven't already guessed, because baby wearing is a huge part of my life at the moment. My baby is 3 months old, so we are wearing him all the time, and me especially, and it's just such a lovely thing to do, and it's such a handy parenting tool. In this video I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you would baby wear. Some are for the baby and some are for the mother or wearer. If you're baby wearing yourself, let me know what slings you're using and how it's going. This particular sling is like my favorite at the moment. It's the one I'm always using. Except if it's raining really badly, then I would just use a ring sling. Right, this is a Rhapsody hybrid and I absolutely love it because it's stretchy and light. So I'm gonna get on to the reason why we baby wear. So reason number 1 is because for the baby now, he just loves it because he feels safe and secure. He has no other needs at the moment when he's 3 months old other than to be up with his mom, and this kind of fulfills all that, you know. It's just such a lovely place for him to be, and babies love to be up in slings. They just adore it. It's really a natural place for them to be, and which brings me on to my next, reason to baby wear is because he can hear my heartbeat, he can hear my voice, he can smell me, he can, he feels all the movements that I do. So it's very similar, to being in the womb. It's just on the outside, and I think that's so important for babies because, that brings that sense of security to them because they're with the person they know best and the person that they know intimately. Thirdly, for their physical development, it's just fantastic for their hips. Their hips should be, in line with their knees when they're in the sling. That's why a wrap, I find, is really good because it allows you to, control that rather than a more structured carrier. For the hips, it's great if your baby has any hip issues. Baby wearing can be fantastic for that. Also for their neck and head, obviously he's asleep at the moment, but when he's awake, he's like, has a lot of control, and it's really good for their head and neck development. At my baby's 3-month developmental check, my public health nurse could not believe that he was only 3 months because his neck is so, used to being free to move around as he pleases. And so, yeah, it's just great for their neck and heads because they're not restricted by like a pram or a seat or whatever. So it's great for that. Baby wearing is fantastic for the baby's speech and language acquisition, and for engagement, so he's obviously here right beside me, listening to me speaking all the time or singing or whatever, and that's really good for their language acquisition and also for the engagement. Like, let's say I'm here making a cup of tea, he's up and he's with me and he's watching every single thing I'm doing. And if he was in a pram or whatever, he wouldn't have that opportunity to be up with me constantly and seeing everything that's going on. So it's really good for engagement as well and for their learning. Then for me, it's just the handiest parenting tool ever. Like, it's just so useful and practical. It means that I can be hands-free, in the house, out and about, or wherever, because he's up and all his needs are being met because he's here with me, but I also have my hands free, so I can make a cup of tea, some toast or whatever. I can tend to my older children. It's really handy if you have a toddler and you're not comfortable putting your baby down with your toddler running around, who's getting used to having a new sibling, a new baby in the house, and you want to keep the baby safe. Up in the sling is just such a perfect place for that. Another reason to baby wear is you can breastfeed in the sling. I know not all people like to do that, and obviously not everyone breastfeeds either, but if you're breastfeeding and you can manage to tweak the sling, I just loosen it a little bit and he latches on. I help him, I lift up the boob a bit and help him latch on in the sling, but it's just so handy. He could be asleep in the sling, or we could be out and about, he kind of stirs, he's hungry, feed him while he's still in the sling, and then he can go back to sleep again. Like, it is so handy, and that I feel is one of the best things about baby wearing, being able to breastfeed in it. So if you are baby wearing and you haven't tried breastfeeding in it yet, I'd say just give it a go, you know, and find out what works for you. Maybe certain slings might work better. I can do it in the stretchy or in the structured carrier. I actually used to put in my second child. He was quite fussy and he liked to be held a lot. He never went in pram. And I used to put him in the sling to breastfeed him. And it was my way of breastfeeding him. Like, it was so handy. So that just depends on the baby as well. So the next reason to baby wear, it's kind of the same as the reasons for the baby, but for the mother as well, it's really, really nice for bonding. It can be really healing as well. You know, if you've had a traumatic birth, or you've been separated from your baby, similar to skin, you know, in the bed or whatever, but baby wearing, you can continue to do as, you know, your baby gets older. And it's just such a lovely way to be close to your baby and bond with them and, you know, cuddle them. And it just feels really, really nice. Baby wearing is a really, really good way to meet people as well, because there are sling meets that you can go to. Usually a baby wearing consultant will be at the sling meet and will be able to give you tips and advice about which slings are best for you, or, you know, be able to tweak how you're wearing your baby. It's a really nice way to meet other mothers or caregivers who are also wearing their babies. You know, I think because mothering can be, you know, especially when you become a first-time mom, it can be quite lonely. So it's lovely to have an excuse, you know, to meet up with other moms and go for coffee or whatever. Baby wearing is actually quite cheap. You know, there are of course some really expensive slings, but most of them are really reasonable. I think this one was like €95. But I have gotten so much wear out of it. And the other good thing about slings is that you can borrow them from like a sling library. Usually a sling library will be at a sling meet, or you can send away for them as well online. But you know, it's very cheap to borrow them. Try the ones you like, and then you can buy one or borrow them from a friend. I've loaned slings, I've borrowed slings, and it's just, they're actually really, really reasonable when you compare them to the cost of, say, a buggy. Now, I have a buggy as well, but at the moment, I'm using slings a lot more just because of the size of my baby. He's only 3 months. You know, he doesn't need to be in a buggy, and it's just so handy to throw him up in the sling. And you get really used to doing it as well. Like, I put him up 5 or 6 times a day. I'm just so used to it, I just do it very quickly and it's no big deal. I know at the start it can be a bit daunting when you've got this big piece of material, but get a sling consultation or go to a sling meet and you'll get the hang of it quite quickly. And finally, the 10th reason to baby wear is because they look so pretty. You know, it's an excuse to buy yourself something nice. I find I don't tend to buy myself clothes during the postpartum period because my body is changing so much. There's no point in getting clothes for now because in like 6 months time they'll probably be too big, hopefully. But yeah, so it's a nice thing to get yourself, and you can always buy it and then sell it on and get something else, you know, but they're really pretty. And I chose this particular one. I love bright colors, and I chose this one because I loved the design on it. It's got sunflowers, and my baby Sol, his name means sun, so it was like, okay, this is perfect for us. Yeah, so they're my 10 reasons to baby wear. If you can think of any other reasons that I haven't thought of, please let me know down in the comments. And if you have any questions about it, let me know as well. I'm not a baby wearing consultant, but I have a lot of experience baby wearing and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you'd like to hear more of my videos, or if there's something in particular you'd like me to talk about. I love talking about birth and pregnancy and yoga and yeah, all things parenting related. And thanks a million for watching. Give me a like if you've enjoyed this video. Take care. Bye bye.